Today, let's focus about Scandinavia. Scandinavia is a sub-region in Northern Europe with strong historical, cultural, and linguistic tie between its constituent people. Scandinavia most commonly refer to Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. In English usage, it can sometimes also refer more narrowly to the Scandinavian Peninsula, which excludes Denmark but includes part of Finland, or more broadly to all of the Nordic countries, also including Finland, Iceland, and Faroe Islands. The geography of the region is varied from the Norwegian fjords in the west and Scandinavian mountains covering parts of Norway and Sweden to the low and flat areas of Denmark in the south, as well as archipelagos and lakes in the east. Most of the population in the region live in more temperate southern regions, with the northern parts having long, cold winters. The region became notable during the Viking Age, when Scandinavian people participated in large-scale raiding, conquest, colonization, and trading mostly throughout Europe. They also used their long ships for exploration, becoming the first Europeans to reach North America. These exploits saw the establishment of the North Sea Empire, which encompassed large parts of Scandinavia and Great Britain. Though it was relatively short-lived, Scandinavia was eventually Christianized and coming centuries saw various unions of Scandinavian nations, most notably the Common Union of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, which lasted for over 100 years until the Swedish king Gustav I led Swedish to independence. It also saw numerous wars between the nations, which shaped the modern borders. The most recent union was the union between Sweden and Norway, which ended in 1905. In modern times, the region has prospered, with the economies of countries being among the strongest in Europe. Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Iceland, and Finland all maintain welfare systems considered to be generous, with the economic and social policies of the countries being dubbed the nomadic model. The geography of Scandinavia is extremely varied. Notable are the Norwegian fjords, the Scandinavian mountains covering much of Norway and parts of Sweden, the flat, low areas in Denmark, and the archipelagos of Finland, Norway, and Sweden. Finland and Sweden have many lakes and moraines, glaciers of the Ice Age, which ended about 10 millennia ago. The southern region of Scandinavia, which are also the most populous regions, have a temperate climate. Scandinavia extends north of the Arctic Circle, but have relatively mild weather for its latitude due to the Gulf Stream. Many of Scandinavian mountains have alpine tundra climate. The term Scandinavia is local usage covered the three kingdoms of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. The majority national language of these three belong to the Scandinavian dialect continuum and are mutually intelligible North Germanic languages. The words Scandinavia and Scania are both thought to go back to the Proto-Germanic compound, which appear later in Old English as Sesedig and Old Norse as Sken, which appear and Sken. The earliest identified source of the name Scandinavia is Pliny the Elder's Nature History, dated to the 1st century AD. The term Scandinavia is ordinarily used locally for Denmark, Norway, and Sweden as a subset of nomadic countries. In the ethnic or cultural sense, the term Scandinavian traditionally refers to speakers of Scandinavian language who are mainly descendants of the people historically known as Norsemen, but also to some extent of immigrants and others who have been assimilated into the culture and language. In this sense, the term refers primarily to native Danes, Norwegians, and the Swedes, as well as descent of Scandinavian settlers such as Iceland and Faroes. The term is also used in this ethnic sense to refer to modern descendants of the Norse in studies of linguistics and culture. Additionally, the term Scandinavian is used denominatically to refer to all modern inhabitants or citizens of Scandinavian countries. Two language groups have coexisted on the Scandinavian Peninsula since prehistory: the Norse Germanic language, Scandinavian language, and the Sami languages. The majority of population of Scandinavia, including Iceland and the Faroe Islands, today derive their languages from several Norse Germanic tribes who once inhabited the southern part of Scandinavia and spoke a Germanic language that evolved into Old Norse and from Old Norse in Danish, Swedish, Norwegian, Faroese, and Icelandic. The Scandinavian languages are unrelated to Finnish, Estonian, and Sami language, which, as Uralic languages, are distantly related to Hungarian. The Sami languages are indigenous minority languages in Scandinavia. Denmark and Norway, as a historical name, refer to former political union consisting of kingdoms of Denmark and Norway, including the Norwegian dependence of Iceland, Greenland, and the Faroe Islands. The corresponding adjective and demonym is Norwegian. During Danish rule, Norway kept its separate laws, coinage, and army, as well as some institutions such as Royal Chancellor. Norway's old royal line had died out with the death of Olaf IV in 1387, but Norway's remaining hereditary kingdom became an important factor for the Oldenburg dynasty of Denmark-Norway in its struggle to win elections as kings of Denmark. The Treaty of Kiel, January 14, 1814, formally dissolved the Dano-Norwegian Union and ceded the territory of Norway proper to the King of Sweden, but Denmark retained Norway's overseas possession. However, widespread Norwegian resistance to the prospect of a union with Sweden induced the governor of Norway, Crown Prince Christian Frederick, later Christian VIII of Denmark, to call a constituent assembly at Eidsvoll in April 1814. The assembly drew up a liberal constitution and elected Christian Frederick to the throne of Norway following Sweden's Swedish invasion during the summer. The peace condition of the Convention of Mons, August 14, 1814, specified that King Christian Frederick had to resign, but Norway would keep its independence and its constitution within a personal union with Sweden. Christian Frederick formally abducted on 14 August 1814 and returned to Denmark. The Norwegian parliament Storting elected King Charles XIII of Sweden as King of Norway on 4th November. The Storting dissolved the union between Sweden and Norway in 1905, after which the Norwegian elected Prince Charles of Denmark as King of Norway. He resigned as Håkon VII. The economies of the countries of Scandinavia are amongst the strongest in Europe. There is a generous welfare system in Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, and Sweden. Various promotional agencies of the nomadic countries in the United States, such as the American Scandinavia Foundation, established in 1910 for the Danish-American industrialist Noel Poulsen, serve to promote market and tourism interest in the region. Today, the 5 nomadic heads of state act as organizations, patrons, and coordinate to the official statement by organization. Its mission is to promote the nomadic region as a whole, while increasing the feasibility of Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, and Sweden in New York City and the United States. The official tourist boards of Scandinavia sometimes cooperate under one umbrella, such as Scandinavian Tourist Board. The cooperation was introduced for the Asian market in 1986 when the Swedish National Tourist Board joined the Danish National Tourist Board to coordinate intergovernmental promotion of two countries. Norway's government entered 1 year later, after 5 nomadic governments participated in the joint promotion effort in the United States through Scandinavian Tourist Board of North America. In summary, Scandinavia, demonym Scandinavian composition, it is composed of foreign countries: Denmark, Norway, Sweden, sometimes also Ireland, Faroe Island, Finland, Iceland. Nomadic tourists that are not part of Scandinavia include Bouvet Island, Greenland, Jan Mayen, Svalbard. Most known countries component of Scandinavia are Denmark, Faroe Island, Finland, Iceland, Norway, and Sweden. Their continental languages. Continental Scandinavian languages include Danish, Norwegian, Swedish, Insular Scandinavian language, Faroese, and Icelandic. Thank you very much for being with us today. I have focused about Scandinavia region in Europe. Thank you, and see you in other upcoming videos. Bye.